Bird by Bird, Some Instructions on Writing in Life by Anne Lamott. 30 years ago, my older brother, who was 10 years old at the time, was trying to get a report on birds written that he'd had 3 months to write, which was due the next day. We were out at our family cabin in Bolinas, and he was at the kitchen table close to tears, surrounded by binder paper and pencils and unopened books on birds, immobilized by the hugeness of the task ahead. Then my father sat down beside him, put his arm around my brother's shoulder, and said, "Bird by bird, buddy. Just take it bird by bird." I tell this story because it usually makes a dent in the tremendous sense of being overwhelmed that my students experience. Sometimes it actually gives them hope. And hope, as Chesterton said, is the power of being cheerful in circumstances that we know to be desperate. Writing can be a pretty desperate endeavor, because it is about some of our deepest needs, our need to be visible, to be heard, our need to make sense of our lives, to wake up and grow and belong. It is no wonder if we sometimes tend to take ourselves perhaps a bit too seriously. Emotions such as fear, anger, frustration, and immobility are energies, and you can potentially catch these energies from people without realizing it. If you tend to be an emotional sponge, it's vital to know how to avoid taking on an individual's negative emotions, or even how to deflect the free-floating negativities in crowds. Another twist is that chronic anxiety, depression, or stress can turn you into an emotional sponge by wearing down your defenses. Suddenly, you become hyper-attuned to others, especially those suffering with similar pain. That's how empathy works. We zero in on hot-button issues that are unresolved in ourselves. From an energetic standpoint, negative emotions can originate from several sources. What you're feeling may be your own. It may be someone else's, or it may be a combination. Here is how to tell the difference and strategically bolster your positive emotions so that you don't shoulder negativity that does not belong to you. Ever head to work feeling under the weather? You're not alone. 7 in 10 professionals, 70%, admitted they frequently go to work when they're sick. Workers were asked, "How frequently do you go into work when you're feeling sick?" Their responses? Very frequently, 43%. Somewhat frequently, 27%. Somewhat infrequently, 17%. Never, 13%. Don't know or no answer, 1%. Here are some tips for maintaining a healthy workplace. Address the issue head on. At the start of cold or flu season, remind staff to avoid spreading illness throughout the office by staying home when they are sick. Model the behavior. If you are a manager, resist the urge to come in sick yourself. If you do, employees will assume the same is expected of them. Give homework. Offer those suffering from minor ailments the ability to work from home if possible. They may be less likely to come in and infect others if they don't have to use sick days. Keep it clean. Encourage staff to clean up common areas like break rooms and make hand sanitizer available to avoid the spread of germs. Have a backup plan. Identify team members who can take over responsibilities for sick employees. Hire temporary professionals if necessary to keep projects on track.